Hey, my name is Martin.
Hey, my name is Jajar, and welcome to this year's virtual presentation about the mini school field trips. So, why exactly do we go on field trips? Mini school field trips are a great opportunity to learn how to be independent, try things you've never done before, and become an overall better version of yourself. In a school year, we go on three different trips, one in the fall, one in the winter, and one in the spring. All of these field trips offer great educational experiences and are truly a lot of fun. Now I'm going to pass it over to Martin to talk about Sun Peaks.
Sun Peaks is our yearly trip we go on every January. On this trip, we participate in various activities that consist of downhill skiing or snowboarding, Nordic skiing, snowshoeing, and the senior grades typically do a scavenger hunt. In this trip, students are usually put into rooms of four where students are expected to cook and clean after themselves. One important thing to note about this trip is that students must pass a winter survival test before attending this trip. Well, this allows students to be safer and know what to do in case of an emergency.
Alberta is a trip which takes place in spring, and you would go on a maximum of two times within your 5 years of this program. In Alberta, you get to go on hikes and visit many amazing locations, including the Royal Tyrrell Museum, Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump, a walking tour of Banff, and more. The highlight of this trip for most students is the sights we get to see while on the bus ride going to Alberta. We also get to make a cool project from the stuff we learned at the Royal Tyrrell Museum to reflect on our findings.
Moving on, Seattle was one of my favorite trips. This trip was really nice because we got to explore the city on our own time and also with our friends. This trip will typically occur a maximum of two times in our 5 years of the program. The activities on this trip will include tours of various museums, walking tours around the city, scavenger hunts with the use of our phones, and visiting the iconic Space Needle.
Strathcona is a trip which takes place in spring. You go on this trip a maximum of three times total within your 5 years of the program. At Strathcona, you participate in various activities such as hiking, zip lining, rock climbing, and a tight ropes course. Something unique about Strathcona is that you and a group of students canoe to an island from the Strathcona Lodge area where you set up a campsite and you spend the night there. Overall, Strathcona is a very fun trip where you get to work as a team to achieve majority of the tasks given to you. Galliano is a trip that could be held either in the fall or spring. Galliano is a trip that you would go on a maximum of two times within your 5 years in the mini school program. It could either be held in the fall or in the spring. In Galliano, you learn how to camp and cook and clean after yourself in the wilderness. You participate in hikes and kayaking, but most importantly, this trip revolves around biking. You bike to and from every location you are going to, which pushes your physical abilities to its limits. Although it sounds horrific, it's a lot of fun, and you get an experience of the outdoors which most people have never gotten before. So, Banfield is a trip which takes place in fall, and you only go on this trip once either when you're in grade 9 or in grade 10. In Banfield, you learn how it feels to be a post secondary student on a way smaller scale. You learn about biodiversity of the West Coast, participate in various different workshops, and get to work with materials you would never get to use in school. And just like Alberta, you get to create a fun project after you return home about your findings in Banfield. Ashland is a trip that takes place in fall, and you would go on this trip once either in grade 11 or grade 12. You would go on this trip along the same time that the juniors are in Banfield. In Ashland, you get to watch three amazing plays at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. You also get to participate in several other activities, which include visiting Crater Lake, a tour of the Oregon Caves, and a drama workshop.
Here are some commonly asked questions and answers about the program. How much does it cost? Typically, every trip costs around $300 to $500 per trip. Now, what happens in case of an emergency? Students are expected to call chaperones or teachers or to find them at the rooms, which are usually told to students in case of an emergency. What technology is permitted? Well, you may bring a camera, but We also allow phones for the usage of photos and videos, but it could also be used as an emergency contact. And usually, students are not expected to bring their laptops for these trips. What is a general etiquette? Well, first off, being respectful of others, which usually includes being quiet during curfew times. This is especially true during hotels when we're staying over with over 120 kids. Secondly, being conscious about the environment. Like when we're staying over at Galliano, we should be able to be respectful and clean after ourselves to not litter and damage the environment around us. And finally, showing up on time for the activities so we do not waste anyone else's time. Here are some photos of the various trips. Here is a photo of Banfield. The middle one is a photo from Sun Peaks, and the last one here is a photo from Seattle. These two photos here are taken in Seattle where we had to watch a baseball game, and this one I'm pretty sure is in Banfield. These two photos here are just photos from Sun Peaks where we got to ski down the hill, but before that we took photos of it. Thank you for listening. That concludes our virtual presentation. I hope you all learned a lot more about our program, specifically for our field trips. Thank you.